The most emotionally intelligent person in any room is usually the one nobody is talking about. Not because they lack ability, but because the exact skills that make them brilliant at reading people are the same skills making them professionally invisible. And that invisibility is costing them promotions, influence, and respect they have already earned. By the end of this video, you will have a 4-step visibility protocol you can deploy before your next meeting. One that lets you keep your emotional depth while finally getting the credit your performance deserves. This video covers 7 specific behavioral signatures that mark someone as emotionally intelligent and simultaneously invisible. These are not soft observations. They are documented patterns from organizational psychology research, including work published by Harvard Business Review and Tasha Urich's landmark self-awareness studies. Stick through to sign 4, because that one will reframe everything you thought you knew about why emotional intelligence alone is not enough to advance your career. Here is the problem. Emotional intelligence, the ability to perceive, process, and manage emotions in yourself and others, is consistently rated by Fortune 500 executives as one of the top 3 predictors of leadership success. Yet a 2021 study in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that high EQ individuals in mid-level roles are passed over for promotion at nearly the same rate as their low EQ peers. The reason is not incompetence. It is a visibility gap. High EQ professionals tend to absorb conflict, give credit away, stay quiet when they should speak, and regulate their emotions so effectively that they appear effortlessly fine, while colleagues with louder, more visible behavior patterns get flagged as high potential. The system is not rewarding emotional intelligence. It is rewarding the performance of confidence. And those are 2 very different things. Sign 1. You absorb other people's emotional noise without broadcasting your own. When tension rises in a meeting, you are the one quietly de-escalating, adjusting your tone, softening your language, making space for others to feel heard. This is a rare and sophisticated skill. The problem is that it registers as passivity to people who cannot see the internal processing happening. Research from the University of California, Berkeley, found that individuals high in emotional regulation are perceived as less engaged by managers who equate visible emotional expression with investment and drive. The performance cost here is concrete. A 2019 McKinsey study found that professionals who are consistently underestimated by their managers receive on average 34% fewer high-visibility project assignments over a 3-year period. Fewer high-visibility assignments means fewer promotion cycles entered. The compound effect over a decade is devastating to career trajectory. The takeaway is not to stop absorbing. That skill is genuinely valuable. The protocol is to narrate the absorption. When you de-escalate a situation, follow it immediately with a 1-sentence articulation of what you just did. Say, I noticed the conversation was getting reactive, so I reframed toward the shared objective. That sentence does not change what you did. It makes the invisible skill visible. High EQ professionals are passed over for promotion at nearly the same rate as low EQ peers. The gap is not talent, it is visibility. Sign 2. You instinctively redistribute credit to the group, even when the contribution was primarily yours. This is not false modesty. For high EQ individuals, it is almost automatic, a genuine recognition of collaborative input and a discomfort with appearing self-promotional. It feels right, and organizationally, it is costing you more than you realize. Adam Grant's research at Wharton on workplace behavior documents a pattern he calls the giver tax, where professionals who consistently give credit away are perceived as less confident and less leadership-ready by senior decision-makers, even when those same decision-makers verbally praise the behavior. The performance consequence is this. In performance review cycles, managers rely heavily on recallable narrative, what they can remember you doing, specifically and distinctly. When your contributions are consistently attributed to the team, you are erasing yourself from the recall pool. Studies on attribution bias in performance reviews show that ambiguous contribution history reduces promotion consideration by up to 28%. The protocol here is what organizational psychologists call contribution anchoring. Before redistributing credit, plan a single anchor sentence. Say, this outcome came from the team's execution, particularly the framework I built in week 1 that structured how we approach the problem. One sentence. You acknowledged the team. You also made your specific contribution memorable and distinct. That is not arrogance, that is professional legibility. Ambiguous contribution history reduces promotion consideration by up to 28%. Not because you did less work, but because no one remembers what specifically you did. Sign 3. You choose silence over noise when you do not yet have a fully formed thought. In group settings, high EQ individuals are acutely aware of how premature or redundant contributions affect the energy of a room. So they wait, they process, they contribute only when they have something genuinely additive to say. This is intellectually disciplined behavior. It is also being read as disengagement by everyone watching. Neuroscience research on social perception shows that in group settings, silence lasting more than 4 to 6 seconds is almost universally interpreted as either disagreement or lack of ideas, regardless of the actual cause. The brain's default attribution for silence is absence of thought, not depth of thought. The professional performance consequence is that in high-visibility environments, all-hands meetings, strategy sessions, executive briefings, the people who speak early and often, even if imprecisely, are rated as more confident and more promotable by observers. This is not a rational system, but it is the system. The protocol is called the bridge placeholder. When you have not yet fully formed your idea but want to hold space in the conversation, use a 3-second bridge, something like, "There is an important variable here worth naming before we finalize this." That sentence does 2 things simultaneously. It signals active engagement to every observer, and it buys you exactly the processing time you need to deliver the precise insight that follows. You do not have to sacrifice depth. You just need to signal that depth is incoming. 4 to 6 seconds of silence in a group setting, and your brain is already being read as having nothing to say. The system is not fair, but now you know the rule. Here is the loop that opened at the start of this video. The most emotionally intelligent people are the quietest, and that silence is costing them influence. Here's why that is not a character flaw. It is a structural paradox built into how organizations process talent. Emotional intelligence research, including foundational work by Peter Salovey and John Mayer, establishes that high EQ individuals are significantly better at regulating impulses, including the impulse to speak before thinking, to self-promote before contributing, and to claim territory before it is earned. These regulatory capacities are the exact mechanisms that make them effective. But in organizations designed to surface talent through visible behavior, internal regulation is architecturally invisible. The system cannot see what you are not externalizing. This means the 4-step visibility protocol is not about changing who you are. It is about creating a translation layer between your internal processing and the external signals that organizational systems actually reward. The 4 steps are: 1. Narrate your de-escalations immediately after they happen. 2. Anchor your contribution before distributing group credit. 3. Use bridge placeholders to hold space while you process. And 4. The one that ties all 3 together, at the end of every high-stakes meeting, send a single-paragraph summary to the decision-maker in the room. Not a long email, 1 paragraph. What you observed, what you contributed, and what you believe the next highest leverage action is. This is the translation layer. It takes your internal processing, the thing that makes you exceptional, and renders it legible to a system that otherwise cannot see it. The average high EQ professional who deploys this consistently for 60 days reports a measurable increase in being included in strategic conversations, according to follow-up data from organizational coaching programs tracked by the Center for Creative Leadership. Not because they changed, because they finally became visible. Here's what to drop in the comments right now. Out of the 4 protocol steps, narrate the de-escalation, anchor before crediting, use the bridge placeholder, or send the post-meeting summary. Pick the one you have never done but will use before your next meeting. Write the number, just 1 through 4. That comment takes you 4 seconds and locks the protocol into memory far more effectively than passive watching. The psychology of commitment and consistency means the act of writing it publicly increases follow-through by over 40%. Drop your number below. If this reframed how you think about emotional intelligence at work, the next video on this channel is going to be equally precise and immediately deployable. It covers the exact reason your energy crashes between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., and it has nothing to do with sleep or caffeine. It is a neurochemical mechanism called glucose-driven decision fatigue, and there is a 9-minute protocol that eliminates it without supplements, naps, or restructuring your entire afternoon. Subscribe to Growth Daily now so that video is waiting for you the moment it drops. Every upload on this channel is under 12 minutes, peer-reviewed in its sourcing, and built for professionals who do not have time to waste on content that does not deliver. Subscribe. The next one is worth it.